Conceive, believe, achieve.
This is former UFC middleweight champion of the world, Michael Bisping.
Paddy the Baddy here. You're listening to Combat Sports UK.
And you're watching Combat Sports UK.
Welcome back to Combat Sports UK. Our next guest on the show is none other than UFC lightweight Drew Dober. Drew, thank you so much for taking the time. How you doing?
Oh, fantastic, man. Training camp is coming to a close. I feel fit and ready and eager to see all the fans out in Newark.
I mean, like we say, we're getting very close to fight week now. It's a big pay-per-view event, taking on Matt Frevola, UFC 288. What was it that made you want to take this fight with Matt Frevola?
Well, the timing. I got a baby due in June. And so, man, we have to get that work in before the baby comes out. Man, I don't know if you saw me. I dusted off the Twitter. I tried to call some fighters out. I tried to make some fights happen. I mean, RDA was close to, taking a fight with me. But, man, things weren't just coming together. So Matt Frevola said yes for May 6th. And, yeah, props to him.
Well, that was one question I was going to ask later, but I might as well ask it now. Obviously, baby on the way. How much motivation does that add to this camp?
No, a ton of motivation. I mean, man, I'm no longer just feeding myself now. I got other people to feed. And so if you think this chin was good before, man, it's going to be great after.
Well, 3 bonuses in your last 4 fights. Hopefully another one to make, really boost the family morale, let's say.
Right. I mean, we're not hunting for bonuses, but we seem to be collecting them, though.
And just to really start us off, you've been in the UFC for quite some time now. You've taken on some of the very best guys around. How do you reflect upon your time with the UFC?
Man, dream come true. And the recognition is about damn time. But I got into the sport just trying to make stories and fantastic fights and to challenge myself and so I think my career in the UFC has just showed that I'm not afraid to compete with anybody. I'm not trying to skip over anyone. I'm not trying to sneak through the rankings. I'm trying to have fantastic fights every single time. So whether they are the champion, #1 contender, or a debuter, I'm willing to engage and fight anyone and create fantastic fights to be remembered.
And that certainly shows. And as well, it's all, nearly 5 months since your last fight as well. Of course, you've been training, you've been keeping busy as you do. But do you enjoy a bit of time off? Are you just always eager to get back in there?
Man, this is what I love. This is what I'm built for. This is what I'm passionate about. Obviously, my body needs the rest after these fights. I leave that cage with a bunch of bumps and bruises that I need to heal up. And if I want to keep doing this until I'm 40, we gotta treat that body with respect. But I love staying active. This is what I live for, and I'm not living if I don't have anything scheduled. So I try to get 3 fights in a year, but easier said than done.
And as we've mentioned this time around, taking on Matt Frevola in what many will assume has all the qualities for a fight of the night sort of fight. Matt's a very hard hitter. He's coming off the back of a couple big KO wins like yourself. How do you see this fight sort of playing out between you two?
Oh man, he's chaotic. He got some stone in his hands, and man, it's going to be a fun fight. The dude takes risks, goes out there and chases greatness, and that's what I love when fighters do. And he's the man to do it. He's got power in his hands. He's got that, he's got a decent chin on him too. So it's going to be a chaotic fight. He's going to step forward and engage. I'm going to step forward and engage. And the UFC knows this. Matt knows this. So everyone knows this. And so, man, this is the fight to watch. And man, someone's getting hurt.
And one big thing about this fight is, a lot of people have criticized your placement on the card. Obviously, there's a lot of politics that goes around who goes where on the card. And I'm sure the whole thing is, you're headlining the prelims. So they want everyone to be watching that fight, which I know they will. But does it annoy you a bit ever, you're not on the main card, anything like that? Or is it all business from your point?
Actually, to be honest, I wasn't annoyed. The fantastic or the fights that are exciting or either the feature bout, which is the third to last, or the main event of the prelims. And I mean, that's where the UFC keeps bouncing us. So we all know the fight's going to be exciting. And man, fighting on the East Coast, I'm just glad I'm not fighting at midnight, and so we're the main event of the prelims. My broke friends can watch me fight without paying for the pay-per-view. I get my job done early. I can enjoy the rest of the fights. And so, yeah, I don't hate it.
And like I said, you're one of the fan favorites. Obviously, Matt is from New York, so he's going to have a good following there. Let's say, do the fans ever get into your head, or when are you one of those fighters that's just zoned in when you're in there?
No, I just love hearing them. So, I'm whether they want me to win or don't want me to win, as long as I can hear you, I draw that energy in.
That's one thing as well. Obviously, nearly 10 years with the UFC at this point. I'm just curious, obviously, in that time, you're yet to headline a fight night or anything like that. Is that one thing you'd like to set yourself like a goal for yourself before you hang up the gloves for headlining like a fight night or something like that?
Oh, absolutely. Well, first off, I'm a late bloomer, man. I've been that way like my entire life. Dude, I looked like I was 13 years old when I was in school. And so, yeah, I'm a late bloomer. So we're finally coming to fruition right now. And man, I feel so much better at 34 than I did at 24. So, man, we still got a lot of miles on these tires. But main card, main event, co-main event, yeah, I'm ready for that kind of stuff. But I just need that dance partner to do it with me. So as soon as I get the opportunity to fight like a Fiziev, Dustin Poirier, Michael Chandler, like these are the fights that people want to see, and that's going to be a main event status.
100%. And I can see from your social media that you're always training, you're always preparing yourself for the next fight. How have the guys in the gym got you ready specifically for Matt? Have you done anything differently?
No, I think Matt is going to bring in kind of like everything: striking, jiu-jitsu, wrestling, and all the above. And personally, I don't really train for any one opponent. I train for all the opponents. And after we get past Matt Frevola, man, we're looking at guys like Arman, Gamrot, Gillespie, like some solid grapplers. And so we've been really working on my grappling. I mean, it's really hard to knock somebody out when you're on your back, And so we've been working diligently on that. And whether we're going to use it in this fight, I'm not quite sure. We're ready for it, but that's what I've been doing. Is we know my striking is halfway decent, but we got to increase that ground game so that way we can start competing with guys like Islam.
Do you foresee Matt trying to use the wrestling and the grappling at all in this fight, or do you see him thinking, right, I'm taking on Drew Dober in a pay-per-view, let's keep this standing and entertain? What do you actually expect him to do?
I think if you want to find the easy way to beat me, you're going to try to put me on my back. And of course, a lot of people turn into wrestlers when I start punching their chin. So yeah, I'm assuming that Matt's going to shoot it for a takedown every once in a while.
Haven't seen him do that for a while, to be fair. But no, this is a big pay-per-view event. I know you love appearing on the numbered cards. The main event, obviously, Aljamain Sterling taking on Triple C, Henry Cejudo. How do you see that fight playing out? Because that is Henry Cejudo's return is always entertaining for everyone.
Yeah, man, that's so difficult. Just because, I mean, well, Aljamain Sterling does extremely well. Cejudo tends to do it better, that size might play a difference too. Cejudo's, still moving up. I don't know how well he put on some athletic pounds in his retirement. I have Aljamain Sterling, but I don't think it's gonna be a clean victory. I think it's gonna be dirty, and I think it's gonna be close.
What, as in more of like a decision, or it could just go anywhere?
Decision, yeah.
Interesting. And I'm going to get one more prediction off you. Obviously, the co-main for this card was meant to be Beneil Dariush, Charles Oliveira. Obviously, that fight has now been moved to UFC 289. But for your division, that is a massive fight. Potentially, most likely determines who has the next shot at Islam. How do you see that one playing out? Because Charles against your former opponent Beneil, it's one of the most intriguing fights that they've got at the moment. How do you see that one?
Right. I got Beneil. I think Beneil's extremely underrated. I think he's the one that's going to challenge Islam, and he deserves a title shot. So I think Beneil's going to, beat Charles Oliveira, if not significantly. A submission in the third, I think possibly a decision win, but Beneil's going to win that fight and he's going to take on Islam.
Yeah, I think all eyes are going to be on that one, especially you in that division as well. But back to you, you're on a 3-fight win streak, but more importantly, you're on a 3-fight KO streak. Now, obviously, one more KO and you surpassed Dustin Poirier as the most knockouts in the UFC lightweight division. Do you put much stock into stuff like that, or is it just like a cool thing to be able to say?
I mean, it was surprising, when somebody told me after a fight, like, hey, you're one step behind Dustin Poirier. I was like, oh, wow. And now it's just pretty surreal. Like, man, I was just a boy watching the UFC, wishing I was in it. And now I'm in it. And I'm like, I'm hitting records, like it's a blessing. It's exciting. It's so much fun. Now with my own fighting, I don't really think about it much, right? I'm not trying to chase this knockout, right? I'm just in there trying to have fun. I'm gonna be in it for 15 minutes, and we're gonna play punch face for 15. And if he decides to fall down, then that's fun too. But yeah, I'm not really fishing for knockouts.
That's fair enough. But after your last fight with Bobby Green at the end of last year, you already said you were calling out like Big Michael Chandler. You said a fight with RDA was potentially in the line for this one. If you get a big win against Matt at 288, do you think that means you deserve something? Like, I mean, you're in the rankings now. Do you think that gives you the right to call out someone ranked above you and get that fight?
Yeah. I think I'm well deserving. I think the UFC knows what I'm capable of, and I think they're definitely gonna want to showcase my abilities to make fights exciting. So, man, I'm kind of eyeballing that Fiziev fight. I think him and I will make some beautiful violence in there.
Is there one fighter who, not necessarily one of the newer guys like Fiziev? I know Fiziev's obviously been around a while, but is there one guy like a Dustin or a Justin Gaethje, one fight that you'd love to retire and be able to say, I fought that person?
Dustin Poirier, for sure.
Yeah.
Like I love that guy. He's so talented. He's so like amazing, and man, he's been at the top for so long. Dustin Poirier would be the guy I want to fight.
Yeah, I think that fight would just, like you say, just perfect violence, like the Fiziev one. It's exactly what the fans want, basically.
Right.
As I mentioned, nearly 10 years with the UFC. You're still young for the lightweight division. Do you know what I mean? So what more do you intend to achieve before you retire? And how many more years can fans expect to see you?
Oh man, we definitely got 5 more years left. I mean, we can do the Glover Teixeira type of run, yeah, just fantastic fights. Like my goal is just to rack up as many fan favorites as possible. One of the guys I kind of looked up to is Donald Cerrone. You might not have the title, but you have everyone's love and respect, and that's what I hope to aim for. I mean, I'm chasing for that gold for sure, but in the meantime, we're creating some buzz and some great fights.
I like that. And this one's more out of curiosity. After you finished your fighting, you said you like to stay and watch the rest of the fights, especially on cards like this where there's such big names on them, headlining the events. How do you celebrate after a win?
Oh God, we're gonna find some food and some wine, like wine, food, and music. Like we've been kept away in my house, dieting, training. It's all like mundane, like the same thing every day. So after fights, I love talking to you guys. I love finding a spot, sitting down, drinking some wine, and then just bullshitting with my fans. Like that's what I absolutely love.
And I mean, I'm never going to complain about that. So that works as well. And I've got one final question for you, Drew. In 5 words or less, how does your fight on May 6th go?
5 words or less. How does that go? Somebody is going to sleep.
Can't argue with that one, especially with those two names in there. Drew, it's been an actual honor to speak to you. I can't appreciate enough how much, how excited I am for your fight, May 6th, taking on Matt Frevola, UFC 288 in New Jersey. Drew, thank you so much for taking the time to speak to me. It's been an absolute honor.
I appreciate it. And the UK fans, man, it's an honor talking to you guys, and fingers crossed we're flying over the ocean and fighting in the UK soon.
End of the year, I'm telling you, they've got to have another one in London by the end of the year. If you get on that, I'll make sure to be there.
Yeah, we'll see if Patty wants to do it.
That fight, I'm there. Yeah.
Sounds good, man. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. I hope the rest of the camp goes well, and I hope the fight goes well.
Definitely. Talk to you soon, man.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.